Hi, my friends on YouTube. Sorry for not posting in a while, but I was really busy. So today I'm here with a fresh video, which is based on a video I made a couple of months ago. You can see it here in the background. So a couple of months ago, I did this video about interactive maps with Python Folium. And a lot of you people replied like, hey man, how can I make this more interactive? Like if I click here on my page or there, something should happen on the map. But unfortunately, a lot of this stuff is not possible with Python and Folium. So for a short moment, I moved away from Python and Folium and I moved to JavaScript, to leaflet.js. And today I want to show you two interactive features from leaflet.js. I implemented two nice functionalities. One is, you have a table here on the page and a map below, and once you click on the table rows, something will happen on the map. So for example, you click here on the Spider-Man who is born in New York, USA. You click here, you get a pop-up here actually telling you some details out of the table. If you click on Hulk, who is born in Ohio, USA, you get another pop-up in Ohio, and the same for Wolverine here. And so on. This is the first functionality I want to show you today and how to implement this. And the second one is you can use the map to draw certain things or to paint certain things. So for example, click on a random spot on the map and voila, it will create a mark for you. If you now click somewhere else, a line is drawn between those markers here. You can see it, and you click anywhere, a line is being drawn, so you can use it to paint funny things here on the map. And this is the second feature I'll show you today. So have fun. All right, so let's start fresh and clean here with a new file. Let's call it index.html. And let's head over to the leaflet documentation. So just enter leaflet and the first hit on YouTube here. Go to tutorials, and here's a quick start guide for you where the basic steps are explained. So let's see. So first step is preparing our page. So we need to include two things, a leaflet CSS and a leaflet.js file after. So we have to put the JS file after the CSS file here. And then two more things, let's do them step by step. So I created an index.html, let's spin it up here. Let's give it a title, leaflet.js live map, something like this. And let's follow the steps. So first let's just copy this CSS file from here, from leaflet. Let's copy the JavaScript stuff here and put it after the CSS file like it's telling us here in the comments. Let's make it a little bit more beautiful like this. Oh, come on. So this looks better. Let's save it. Then next step is putting a div element into our HTML with an ID. In this case here, map ID. Let's also just copy this one over here. And it's telling us make sure the map container has a defined height. For example, by setting it in CSS. I don't want to do it in CSS. Let's do it directly here. So let's create a style tag here with a width of, let's choose 80%, semicolon, and height of 580 pixels. So added the style here. Next step is some JavaScript, which we'll take in a separate file in this case. So let's create a script.js file like this, which we reference to. And let's create it here, script.js. And let's go back to the documentation. So under setting up the map, we see that within JavaScript, we need to set up a kind of basic map with the same ID we used in HTML, and some coordinates to start with, which is the center of the map, and a zoom. So let's just copy it over to our JavaScript file here first. And second, we need to add a kind of tile layer, so the style our map should have. In this case, I'm using Mapbox here. Under mapbox.com, you can register and create an access token, which you need to put here. I put mine here. So I just copied mine here. Don't worry, you cannot use it. I will make it invalid after I finish this video. And basically that's it, the generic setup of a map. Let's have a closer look at it and on how it looks in the browser. So let's open it with Chrome. And you can see nothing. Why? Let's move to our DevTools. Nothing. Okay, back to our editor. We have our map ID here. Guys, I found the issue, sorry. I used a semicolon here behind the 8, and that's why the map was exactly 0 pixels high. Let me refresh it, and here you have the map, finally. So sorry for the short confusion here. Now let me show you one thing. Let me decrease the zoom factor to, for example, 3, and this means you're zoomed much more out here. Let me even decrease it more to 2, like this, and now you see a world map here. Nice, first step done, we created our map. Alright, in the next step we create the table, the HTML table up front the map, and let's also create a headline here that it looks a little bit better. So dynamic maps with leaflet. And let's wrap it in an H1 heading, and now let's create our table. So let's create a new table like this with a table row like that, and 3 headlines here. So a table head like this, and within the head let's say superhero name, and 2 more columns, city, and the coordinates. And let's create another row, another table row here. Let's do it quickly like that with table lines here. And let's enter the first superhero, Spider-Man, born in New York like this. And the coordinates are 40.743 latitude and a longitude of minus 73.822. Let's quickly have a look at this in the browser. You see here's our table with 1 superhero. Let me just copy over the 2 other rows here to make it quicker. So I just copied over Hulk here in Ohio and Wolverine in Cold Lake, Alberta, Canada. Alright, let's refresh it again. And you see we have our 3 superheroes now in a table above the map. So next 2 things. First step, I will make this a little bit more beautiful, but I will quickly just copy over my CSS because it should not be the focus of this video. And second, whenever the user now clicks on a row later on, the marker should be displayed on the map and all the other markers should disappear. All right, so let's start with the CSS here. I will just include it here. So link rel equals style sheet, type equals text. Oh, come on, this was wrong. Text CSS, and it's in our main folder called main.css. And please forgive me if I just copy it over here, main.css, and I will just copy over my content here. I will upload it to GitHub so you can get it. I just don't want to focus on styling here in this video. I want to focus on the JavaScript stuff. All right, let's have a quick look. So looking much better already. And now, as promised, let's come to the JavaScript stuff. Basically, whenever something on the table rows happens, something should be executed in JavaScript. So marker should be added, right? So to achieve this, let's assign a class to all the table rows except the one with the headlines. So let's give it a class table row and assign a function here on click, and whenever someone clicks on the row, let's just call it test function or to be executed, or let's use camel case here, function to be executed. And let's do this for all of the rows here. Assign a class and a function. And let me just call it test function 1, 2, and 3. One more feature which comes into place through adding my CSS. So once a row has a class table row, we should see a nice hover effect here. It's not there. Let's see why table row. It's case sensitive. Let's make this the same to table row and save it. One more try. Now you see a nice hover effect that you really know in which line of the table you are, and whenever you click, something should happen on the map. Now you see test function 3 is not defined, test function 2 is not defined, test function 1 is not defined because we haven't considered the JavaScript yet, but we'll do now. So let's implement our test function 1, 2, and 3. So let's go back to JavaScript. And first of all, we create a layer group. A layer group is basically a group of certain elements, for example, markers, which can be then put on the map together or removed together or whatever. So let me call this layer group function from Leaflet, and let's directly add it to my map. So nothing will happen right now because right now the layer group is empty. Now let's write our function test function 1. And first of all, we clear or delete the layer group from the map whenever we execute this function. So layer group dot clear layers. Next, also let's close all pop-ups which are currently present on the map. So my map dot close pop-up. And then let's create a marker when this function is executed. So we can do this with a leaflet, so the l.marker. And we need to hand in two arguments, which is the latitude and the longitude. And let's just copy it over from the HTML here. So let's add the latitude and the longitude to the marker. And let's add the marker to our layer group here. So we created here a marker and added it to the layer group. And as the layer group is already added to the map, this marker is then automatically being added to the map as well. And let's open a pop-up for the marker with bind pop-up method. And let's just call it Spider-Man. And also open the pop-up directly, like this. All right, this is our test function 1. Let's see test function 1. And let's try it out. let's refresh it. Let's click on the Spider-Man row, and you see layer group clear layers is not a function. Okay, it's a big L, I think, like this. One more time. Let me click on the Spider-Man row, and voila, you see a Spider-Man pop up here and a marker as well. Nice. So now let's implement the same basically for test function 2 and 3. So let's just copy it over, rename test function 1 to 2 and 3 here. By the way, you can feel free to make it more generic. I just want to show how to quickly implement such features. Of course, we could also basically call the function with this argument and hand over all this stuff to the function, read it out, make it more generic. I leave it up to you. I just want to quickly show you how to implement stuff like this. So next one would be Hulk with those coordinates. So let's implement or copy the coordinates over. Wrong line. Coordinates belong here to test function 2 and Hulk belongs here in as well. And the last function, the 3, should contain the coordinates of Cold Lake, Alberta, Canada, and Wolverine. So let's do this and replace Spider-Man with Wolverine and refresh it one more time. Let's actually on the map move a little bit more to the states here because they are more relevant. And now let's click on Spider-Man and we see a pop-up is all markers created with a pop-up being opened with the content Spider-Man. We can close the pop-up, open it, and so on. But if we click now on the second row, Hulk, the first marker gets deleted, the Hulk marker gets created, and the same for Wolverine. Nice. So first feature of a kind of dynamic map we just created in only few steps and with less effort here. And once we finish now the first feature, let's move on to the second feature, this drawing functionality, which we can completely implement in JavaScript. All right, let's head over to JavaScript and start with the implementation of our second feature. So basically, we make use of the polyline functionality here from Leaflet, which can be called with L dot for leaflet and then polyline. And polyline requires a set of latitude and longitudes, color and curly brackets. Let's make it red. And then we can already add it to our map. Add to my map. Nice. But first of all, we need this array of latitudes and longitudes, and let's just start with a variable, and let's here simply create our list like this. Let's make it an array of arrays here, like this, and include our values from Spider-Man, Hulk, Wolverine, just to see how this functionality is working. So the short wrap up, we create a variable as an array of latitude and longitude key pairs, and we then call the polyline functionality, which gets this array, we choose a color and add it to the map. Let's see. And you see here, we draw a line between our three markers here because we forwarded our list of latitude longitude key pairs here. All right, so now we know what to do with this polyline functionality, so let's wrap it in a function. So for the moment, let's keep the coding for a moment, but let's write a function draw line, which takes an array of markers or latitude longitudes as input criteria. Let's call it M array for marker array. And here let's draw the polyline based on l dot polyline again and add to, let's add it to my map, but let's also add it to the layer group that we can remove it later on. So polyline dot add to layer group. Now we need to find out how from an array here we forward the coordinates into this polyline functionality. So basically this should be included into the input. So the marker array already, then we get the latitude and longitudes via the input here. And we need to choose a color dot red. Like this. This is all for the functionality of draw line. Let's delete this stuff here for a second. But this draw line function is not called right now, so we need to, make or implement the functionality that we create a marker once we click on the map. So currently, when we click on the map, nothing will happen. Let me refresh it. So nothing will happen when we click on the map. Only if we click on our table row here, we will generate markers and pop-ups, but not if we just click on the map. So let's implement it. How do we do it? So basically, we can use for our my map here. Our map is stored in the variable my map. We can use on click functionality. So whenever the map is being clicked, something should happen. And something means a function which basically gets this click event E. So whenever we click on the map, an event is generated, which is stored here in the variable E. And like this. And to basically get the latitude longitude values out of this E, we can use a special function. So let's call it pop location. And here we can read the latitude and longitude values out of the events. So Leaflet provides this functionality. Then let's create a marker basically with those values. So let's create a variable marker equals to l dot marker and curly brackets, edgy brackets. And here we now can move our latitude longitude values into, but we can't do it like this. We have to specify the latitude value first and then the longitude value second. And then we can add it to my map, add to my map, like this. Now, basically, when you click somewhere, a marker should be created. Let's test it. Click somewhere, you see the marker gets created. Nice, and so on. But they don't get removed so far. To be able to remove them, let's add them to our layer group. So layer marker.add to layer group like this. And once we refresh the page now, add our markers here wherever we want. And now click on our table. We remove the layer group first, as you remember. Nice. Next, from the markers, basically, you remember the draw line expects an array out of latitude and longitude. So out of those markers we create in the first step, we need to derive the coordinates. So let's create a variable coordinates and let's get them out of the marker, and we can get those with another function from leaflet to marker.get lat lng. So this functionality, and then the latitude value first, and then the same again, marker.get lat lng, and the longitude value like this. So we are getting this into the coordinates variable. But then as we are creating one marker after the other, we need to store it in an array, which the draw line expects as input. So let's create this array first of all. Variable marker array equals empty array. but it doesn't stay empty for a long time. So here let's marker array push the coordinates into our array here. And afterwards, let's call the draw line function with our marker array. And basically that's it already. So now if we refresh the same and create one marker, another one, and a line is drawn between them. So and you can basically draw here like forever until you don't see anything anymore, and as they are all added to the layer group, as soon as you click one of your predefined table entries here, they get removed. So this was fun. I hope you had some fun too. So if you liked the video, feel free to post something in the comments. If you have any questions, improvements, post it in the comments. I would be really happy about it, and see you soon.